last year I spent most of the year on the road, and the clique of kids that I was really tight with and making movies and playing dodgeball with in Baltimore kind of fell out from underneath me, and I kissed the wrong girl, and I got chased out of town. I wasn't chased, but it was traumatic. It was I just had to get out. It was just, I wasn't happy there, and I was basically hanging out in my grandmother's apartment all the time, writing industrial music, and I just needed a shock to my system, so I just bolted.
Sometimes you can't avoid the backslide. I've been minding my boyhood fantasies and burning, and some of them still feel good to me, still fit perfect. Working like a charm, draped around my shoulders, old friends keep me warm in my parents' car. 5 full years of screaming with the stereo on, so when I run, I just push pedals. My feet barely budge. I try keeping the world at my sovereign nation station wagon, the place where I felt safe and keep moving. Scenery changes, so I don't have to. Still can't drink, still convinced about doing myself, doing it's worthless, cause the rug will come out in the end from under. You set yourself up when you're counting on others. I'm not sad, I'm past the sensitized. Friends are like flies and they got their own lives, and at the end of the day, it's just me and my flatline. Send electricity, let me not smile, that's selfish. Puncture the numbing won't still be a regular young man to protect how we do. I've been minding my boyhood streets, and I found one that never made sense to me up until now. That car takes a corner carelessly, turning its wheels from the street, from the edge to the trees by the side of the road. Cause it keeps the debris shut at last, cold wet grass on my face, some blood in my mouth with the paste washed out by the headlights. Passing on by, I'm lying, resting in the wreckage. I'm asleep and completely defenseless, no protection from scavengers weather. And some days it rains with voices the smell of it all, but no one can wait, so cool will be cold. The scraping remains eventually come under that, and keeps craving ecstasy, no social runs under press. Forget it.
Oakland's very, very different. I mean, it's a liberal place. It's not like Baltimore. I mean, in Baltimore, there's like 3 kids in bands, and they all know each other. And in Oakland, every single person is in a band. Like, you go to the internet cafe to check your email, there's like record deals being signed around you. You know, like people starting their own label, like, you know, in Kinko's while you're making a copy or something. Like, it's a very different environment. Yeah. You know, I came up in a town where art isn't like the thing, you know. It's just sort of, you know, like, and over here, like, it's encouraged from every direction. Or over in Oakland, and over in San Francisco even more, you know. In the Bay Area, I haven't lived there long enough to really nitpick about the differences the way everyone else that lives there does. But the Bay Area, you know, it's just bubbling with creativity, which is good and bad.
Come on here. There's all this. Don't be pussies. I'm so out of breath. I'm graceful. I'm always running now. Can't stop chasing. There's something inside of me that doesn't exist yet. Needs to be aerodynamic to catch it. I can't get comfortable in this mess. That's sentence of my mouth. Influence is arrested. Wake up by the bullshit. This black hole's collected. Get all in. Exactly. Conflicted. Pathetic. But I will turn myself into the shape of a weapon. Put it off the back till I'm all started. Explain my main tactics. So that is the question. Don't make sense. I prefer to advance it. Take some over value. It's embarrassing. Not feeling my fist. I'm not falling apart. When all my sense of me, I won't be shocked. I'll know exactly the cause. Because we can fall. Food is disgusting. It's one thing they shit from your family backwards. Poison and cancer. Make a wicked sense. What's going on? The room is more quiet than it was. Food is disgusting. It's one thing they shit from your family backwards. Poison and cancer. Make a wicked instead of taking job. What's going on? The room is more quiet than it was. Sing it. I kick the habit. I kick the habit. Shed my skin. Shed my skin. This is the new stuff. This is the new stuff. I go dancing in. Food is disgusting. It's one thing they shit from your family backwards. The poison and cancer. Make a wicked instead of taking job. What's going on? The room is more quiet than it was. Food is disgusting. It's one thing they shit from your family backwards. The poison and cancer. Make a wicked instead of taking job. What's going on? The room is more quiet than it was.
I think I've almost like really just released, or am about to release in May, my first like album that I think will be taken seriously as I take it. And so things are just really getting started, and I don't have I don't foresee myself like growing a whole lot of roots in California. I mean, I'm there for now, but I'm a very light person, and I'm sure I'll be blowing a different direction soon. I'm not sure when, I don't know. But I mean, I like it out there, but it's definitely not home, and so I don't foresee myself like taking up a permanent position in California.
6'2" riding vehicles, much too small for my stature. Crash up right into the side of a skyscraper. Action play cracker, you can spare in my backpack, but you can't satisfy. It's an entire BMX with stress on the face of whack fools who stage presidents. Out of the chat room, kidnap presidents, and they just both know I'm a bad dude. Rap in a vacuum and I'd still go platinum. Shit, can't click, can you hear it? I realize we concrete street spirits going downhill. Walk with, I'ma drag you out your car, teach you how to pop a hit at the dumb shit. Can't click, can you hear it? The real life street, concrete street spirits going downhill. Walk with, I'ma drag you out your car, teach you how to pop a hit. Let's get on your bikes, you say let's ride. Ready for this? Get on your bikes, get on your bikes, get on your bikes. Like dumb shit, can't click, get on your bikes, get on your bikes. Going downhill, walk in, get on your bikes, 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 get on your
I like playing to new people. I like the challenge of a crowd that's not won over. Before I get on stage, I have a really good time playing shows where it's a complete crapshoot. Where it's just completely unexpected what could happen, and that's where I feel like I really do some of my most creative stuff. Like I used to play the worst shows ever in Baltimore when I lived there. Like every time I played, I felt like everyone, they knew all the words. They were already, they were laughing at stuff I said before I even finished my sentences. It was weird. It creeped me out. That's not like the natural. That's not really my natural environment, I don't think. So that's one thing about playing with like conservative rock bands, or however you want to categorize some of the bands I'm playing with. I mean, it's weird because Postal Service, they have Jimmy and Dintel in the group who's doing laptop and doing electronics and stuff like that. But it seems like actually like a lot of their fans, a lot of the kids who are coming to these shows are a lot more shy and well behaved than some of the fans who came out to see Dismemberment Plan or some of the other rock bands I've toured with, or especially I don't know, Numbers are a rock band. Numbers are a rock band, and their fans are rowdy and so it's interesting that like this is actually more electronic, like they consider themselves techno pop. When we're doing interviews in the car or whatever on the cell phones, that's what the word that goes out for what is the Postal Service. And so be playing with a techno pop band, the kids at these shows are surprisingly, surprising to me. They're very hesitant about what I'm doing, but it's been good though. It's been really good. I can get in their faces, and that's really that's what I like to do. That's where I thrive. The tour with Numbers was definitely the tour experience of my life so far. Before I left on that tour, it was 6 weeks long. I knew I had there was basically an eternity when you're in a different city playing a different show every night. And we had, I think, 3 days off in that whole 3 weeks, or 6 weeks, 3 days off, and 2 of those were because shows got canceled. So it was an experience. It was every day in the van, driving, playing somewhere, and we said no to nothing on that tour. We were out to get. It was our this Tiger Beat 6 first label tour, and I had just left Baltimore. I wasn't really happy there. I had no idea if I was what I was going to do when I got back. I hadn't decided to move until the end of the tour, and so I was trying to make up for like a couple months of sort of being a shut-in, and a recluse, and so it was crazy. We were staying at, every night at shows, finding kids who had empty houses or shorefront plantations or something for us to go sneak in and hang out and camp out in, and we did everything over the top on that tour pretty much. I mean, until the tour manager got shot, and at which point we had to calm down a lot. But it was that if I have to write a book about touring, like that would be the tour to write about.
If I hold you like a puppet tonight, will you remind me what it feels like to be in control? Cause fuck it if I know. Fingertips, fist, wrist, forearm, elbow.
It's been really interesting on this tour. I had there was a dude, I've had a lot of staff from clubs pulling me aside after the show and telling me, stick with it, man. You're gonna be real big one day. And it's great to have like a bouncer, at a club tell you that, because the kids at the show, they came and they paid money for the show, and I totally want them to be happy. And they want to be happy too, but these bouncers, they're getting paid to be there. They don't have to like anything, and they see a different show every night, and to have and these guys don't look like what I would think people that would be into my music would be like, like these are like 6'8", 240, all muscle, like dudes. And one of them, one guy in Brooklyn even told me he was an amateur wrestler for 6 years or 8 years or something, and he was like, you got it, man. You're gonna go. And just giving me these pep talks, and that's been like some of the awesomest. Like, it hasn't been like what they said exactly, but just to have it come from that place has been really important to me. And it seemed like it's maybe every other night on this tour that some dude's pulling me aside, some staff member, and that's made me feel really good. I guess the worst thing on my mind at the moment. I mean, I get stressed out over criticism, not because I don't think I'm wrong ever. I'm definitely exploiting my imperfections and mistakes and stuff in my career and putting them up on right in front of the camera, and that's been sort of my point most of the time. But I guess the one thing, there's been a sort of like a trend in music journalism lately to not like anything, that journalists aren't willing to go out on a limb anymore and say they like something unless it's been approved by some higher up somewhere, whether that be a member of a cool band or some other website or journal that's respected or something. It just seems like it's really funny, because it seems like there's all these writers who are out to like sort of build this career, and they think in order to establish personality they have to trash everything, and that if they like something, like, people are going to think that they're weak or so. I don't know, it's very strange to me. Guys who write these real scathing reviews but put nothing of themselves on the line, and then and when they do have to review something positively or you know, it's almost like they're real scared to do it. Like they don't want to open themselves up to that. They don't want to say they like something that turns out to be lame later. So that's been that's more general. I mean, it's more specific to me. My least favorite thing is when people take pot shots at me in reviews of other records, because and I've read some of that over the last couple months. Where, you know, like you're reviewing some other dude's record and you got it, like someone's trying to like, you know, take a dig at what I'm doing, and that's bizarre to me. And those guys are gonna get phone calls because I'm writing down their names.
I know, I'm so glad my man in the front row realized I have one nipple shaved and one not. It's an experiment. I don't know which one's my favorite. I think the shaved one, but I'm gonna try to roll like this, just forever. So like, you know, David Bowie has 2 different color eyes. It's like that. What? You want some candy? Watch out! I'm that guy. No, I'm not.
I would say maybe 2-3% of what I say is rehearsed or thought up beforehand, and it's becoming less and less as I do this more. I mean, I don't have the attention span to do the same show every night, or to even, you know, I even feel bad, like, every once in a while I'll think up some kind of thing, some kind of theme or some kind of story or something that I want to do at a show, and I'll do it and it'll go really, really well, and I'll feel guilty if I do that again. Like I just, and if I do it 3 times I'll feel bored, you know, like I've stopped even trying to think up anything. Like usually it used to be that I'd try to keep everything off the cuff, but if I could, you know, beforehand, if I'd get real nervous before the show and I'd be sort of in here and thinking, well, what can I, you know, maybe there's something I can keep in my back pocket just in case I'm out there, you know, and I can just drop something. And so I used to like sort of try to like just think of a topic or something that I wanted to bring up at some point in the show, but I don't even do that anymore. Like I feel like I'm working better, and the shows are more exciting when it's completely spontaneous and people can see it. And you know, I mean, even when I did have like the one thing I wanted to say, the show was like 3,000% more spontaneous than like Rock Band X and Z's live performances. But at the moment, it's raw. Nothing's the same. Nothing is nothing's rehearsed. You know, there's certain songs I do every night on tours just because I want people to hear them, and they go over well, and they help me build the audience to where like I can control them easier. But none of the speech or the between song stuff, none of that's rehearsed. That's all just what I get, you know.
bunnies for sale and a t-shirt, and just come talk to me real normal. Thank you very much.